Today on the Daniel Baldwin Show, Tylor Robinson, is he the GOAT? Watch now. Hello and welcome to the Daniel Baldwin Show. As you know, Tylor Robinson has been reported to be the lone gunman in the shooting of Charlie Kirk. As I opened up in the teaser and I said, Tylor Robinson, is he the GOAT? No, I'm not referring to the greatest of all time. I'm not referring to the ongoing Michael Jordan, LeBron James argument. I'm referring to the scapegoat. Is he the scapegoat? Yes, indeed, my friends, he is. And as I said, right after the shooting took place, I mean, within an hour, I believe, I was on the air and I was reporting that there is, for two reasons I said this. And when you're wrong, and you should admit that you're wrong. That's part of the problem here. When people cast these disparaging things and theories and ideas about things, and they realize that they're wrong, they should promptly admit it. And that's part of my program in life. So when I'm wrong, I promptly admit the number one of the two reasons, and I'll tell you what that means. So I said, there's no way this kid could have made that shot. There's no way he could have made it. And of course, an onslaught of people turned around and said, yes, he could. He was skilled. His father was a law enforcement person. The kid had experience with a rifle, blah, 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 blah. So, first of all, let me say that our brave men and women of the military, those who spend time behind the glass, the scope, a rifle, shooters, those people who do that, that are professionals at what they do, will tell you, and as somebody who has depicted those people, who has time himself shooting rifles at long range, but I'm not in the military and I never was. But you talk to guys and women, but particularly for me, it's been men, that will tell you, listen, when you're behind a rifle and you're looking at someone, you're doing your shift in Iraq, wherever it is, and you realize that this person may be a father, a husband, a human being, you have to be able to eliminate all of that stuff from your thought process. You have to be able to be remiss of any emotional or psychological ramifications for what you're about to do. It's a job that if you've risen to that level, you do very well, obviously. That's not true of somebody like this boy. That's not true of somebody who's aiming a gun at a celebrity from quite a distance and hits a perfect shot in his neck, supposedly. Okay, so there's that part. I want to acknowledge that for our military men and women out there who have sacrificed so much for their country. So it's almost insulting to them that we turn around and we look at this kid and go, wow, what a great shot. Do you have any idea what it takes? The amount of rounds, the amount of hours, the days, the weeks, the nights, the things that they have to go through in their dreams, in their subconscious and conscious mind. It's insulting to those people. It's insulting those people that have given so much for our freedom to say that this kid, what a shot. Hey, he could do it. It's such bullshit. Okay, so listen. What was the number one reason why I said? Because I thought 142 yards and almost 50 feet up in the air, he wasn't going to be able to see through the canopy. He would have been blocked. That Charlie would have been blocked by that thing that was over him. And so imagine, this is the canopy above me, and as we raise up the gun to the fourth or fifth floor, or whatever it was that he was on, he wouldn't be able to physically see his neck. So let's take a look at the pictures. So clearly you can see, I bought the canopy, same size. I put it at the scissor lift at 48 feet. I had photographs taken, and clearly at that distance, you could see his neck and his head. You could see his whole body. So I was wrong. And here is a summary of what I said on the location when we did this just the other day. Listen to this. So there is the scissor lift coming down from 48 feet. And I'm here in the yard. And trust me, I really wanted I wanted to get up on one of these big bad boys, and I wanted to prove that there's no way that this kid could have shot Charlie from 142 yards away at that height, at 48 feet, 50 feet high. So I went and I bought the canopy, I got the seat there, and I went ahead and I had him go lift it up with my camera to take pictures so I could prove that one of the things I had trouble with was the fact that this kid shot from that height and hit him in the neck. I didn't think he could see his neck. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. Now, this does not disprove my theory, because the next piece of evidence I'm going to show you makes it abundantly clear that I was right, and there's no way this kid shot Charlie. And I'm going to prove to you why with my second test. But I wanted to admit when I was wrong, because I originally said I don't think he could have made that shot, and a lot of people said, oh no, it's not that hard a shot. I've made that shot at a tighter window and shot things from 200 meters out and hit them consistently. So I wasn't talking about whether or not he had the physical ability to make that shot. I was talking about whether he could see. I thought that at that height, he was going to run into this, and he was going to be looking down and hitting this canopy and not be able to see Kirk. I was wrong. He could see him. I tested it. I measured it. Wrong. Now, the next piece of evidence, which is even more compelling to me, will be what happens when you get hit with a round like that in the neck, and what happens to your neck, and what angle did he shoot at, because I put that seat here, and I had it all the way out there at 142 yards. So this is the angle the bullet would have come in. It would have actually hit Charlie almost frontally. It would hit him here. So it would have blown out the back of his neck. When I show you what happens with just a 7.62 millimeter out of one of my rifles, and I took that shot from, 75 yards out, something like that, not even 100. So I wasn't the length that he was. But a 7.62 millimeter is not as powerful as the round that he shot. It's not moving as fast. So you're going to see what kind of damage that round does when it hits you. And I put well, you'll see. I'll show it to you. So, but here I am. I was wrong. He could have taken that shot for sure. He could have seen his neck, and he could have taken the shot. Stand by. So you can see, I was wrong. There's no question that he could have, it wasn't physically impossible to see the target, is what I was pointing out. Not whether he had the ability. I still don't think he had the ability. I know he didn't take the shot. This is why we're here now. He is a scapegoat. They are framing this kid. Most likely, there was someone that prodded him, that coached him, that was in touch with him to put him in that situation. Or, he may have been Lee Harvey Oswald. He may have been like in a movie theater, not even in the building, or stopped in the building to go pick something up and was seen at a Coca-Cola machine. He never shot around. Oswald didn't shoot Kennedy. There was a great thing I saw of Jack Kennedy. It was an AI generated thing. Show that AI generated thing of Kennedy. Imagine if it could have been that easy, that Jack Kennedy come back and go, no, and it came from over there. It was the grassy knoll. There was no one shot. It was the driver with some kind of pneumatic electric gun and blew my skull off. I saw him aiming at me and I was, because I'd already been shot in the throat. So anyway, the point of it is that this guy, this kid, and here's where the show becomes so frustrating for me, because I know that this kid didn't take that shot. I don't think this kid ever shot a single round. I'm not even sure he was there. He might have been at a Dairy Queen, and somebody that doubled for him ran off the roof, jumped down. They conveniently got all that footage and all the stuff they needed to tie this up. He left the gun in the woods. He comes down with no gun. Then it was in his leg. Then it was in the woods. Then they found, etchings of things that are said on the casings of the bullet. I mean, it's just, and now the father gives him up and says, my son said he did it. There's a confession. There's perfect text messages between the transgender lover and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's so perfect. It's so perfect. But let's look at a couple other things first before I reveal why I know for a fact that this kid didn't shoot him. What is the reason why they have so many forensic file shows and stuff that we've become super educated as a public about stuff that you do, you can't do, blood splatter, DNA, all these different things that we've been made pretty savvy. The average person, by watching a lot of these different shows, can tell you why someone's going down for a crime if their blood is found there, or if the blood of the victim is found on their shoe, sprayed from a bullet hitting them, or whatever the case may be. If you've got the person's DNA on you, you're going in. We haven't seen the bullet that was in Charlie. Conveniently, remember, it went in Charlie, even though as you're looking at me right now, you can clearly see it comes this way from the side, goes like this, and then blood starts coming out here. When you look at where they're saying that, so you can see, he's over here. So if that bullet hit him, it would have come here, like at best, somewhere in this area from where he was shooting from, and then come out, straight out the back, like this. I mean, it would have been, the Fort McHenry Tunnel in Baltimore, it would have been a big hole in the back of his neck. So not here, not blowing up his shirt and doing all this stuff, and then coming out here and blood starts, that wouldn't have been what happened. It would have come from where the shooter was. It would be right where my mic is, right here, right there. And then that goes straight through and comes out, probably a piece of his spinal cord got hit, or his vertebrae for sure, and then a pretty sizable hole coming out the back. That's not what we saw. So where they're showing us the shooter came from does not match the action going on with his neck and the hole that came out. It doesn't match. Doesn't match. You can't make that shit up. It doesn't match. So there's one problem that I have. Where's the bullet so it didn't come out? Oh no, it didn't come out. It didn't come out. It was lodged in his neck. They have the bullet. Where's the bullet? Where's the forensic evidence? This would not have taken this long to show that bullet. Let's see the bullet. Is it the same bullet called the magic bullet at JFK, where they found the bullet lying on a stretcher that they brought John Kennedy to Parkland Memorial Hospital? They found that bullet in pristine condition, not a scratch on it. I mean, come on, man. So we know from shooting bullets into cadavers' wrists, like it hit Governor Connolly and so on in Dallas in '63. We know that that's not what happens when a bullet hits you. We know it mushrooms, we know it gets distorted. Something happens when it hits anything. So we know that bullet in Dallas isn't the bullet. We also know certain things about rounds and rifles and high-powered rifles and so on and so forth. So the second part, which I've already admitted I was wrong about the first part, the two reasons why I said there's no way this kid shot him the two reasons were the proximity height-wise to where Charlie was sitting. I was wrong. And I instead of, and I love people out there like Candace Owens and Meg, different people that are saying, hey, this is not right. We know it's not right. I wanted to go show you that what I said originally was wrong. It was possible he saw him. But number two, let me show you what it looks like. Now, I have multiple firearms. One of them is called a Diamondback, a DB-15, and it shoots 7.62 millimeter NATO military rounds. Not quite as fast or powerful as the round and the gun that was found that Tylor supposedly shot Charlie Kirk with. So remember that what you're about to see isn't even as bad as it would be with this gun that he shot, but it proves my point. So the shot that you're seeing here is from about 100 yards or so it's not quite as long on the 142. And the round that you're seeing is not as powerful. So more damage would have been done, but when you look at this, don't zoom in, you can zoom in post. Go as wide as you can. So there's the entry hole. There's where the bullet went in. There's the bullet coming out, tearing the flesh out, blowing the aluminum foil. and kicking down so hard through the top of the seal, it blows the plastic wide open. That's what a throat, this whole package, looks like after a bullet crashes in it from a high-powered rifle. So, we're to believe that Charlie was shot and the bullet stayed in his throat. This was a 7.62 millimeter, not even as strong as the round used. And I just wanted to demonstrate to you what happens when you get hit in the throat. And it was on a downward angle this way, so the bullet came through here, ripped that open, blew this thing, there's a hole back in there under the blood that you can't see, and then it blew this whole frame right out. What do you think is stronger? The plastic container that I bought that clay in, or your skin? Your skin compared to a plastic container. Yeah, there's not a chance. Not a chance that kid shot Charlie Kirk. Not a chance. So I'm looking at my neck, right? And I'm feeling my neck. And I have a big neck. I have an 18.5-inch neck. I don't know how big Charlie's neck was, but probably not as big as mine. Mine's above average in size-wise. But you feel around your neck, you know? So what would that feel like if you were to take the skin off? Does that look like, it looks like, you know, steak or, so I took a big pork loin roast, right? And I wrapped the pork loin roast because I wanted you to see clearly. And so through the pork loin roast, I put like a skewer that you would put it on a barbecue with, a thin metal skewer. So here's the pork loin roast, right here. There's the pork loin roast with a metal skewer going through it all the way down. I connected a styrofoam head to it so you get an idea that here's the head, here's the neck. And then through that, I put that spike, that steak that I put through it, I put it into a plastic container of clay, like somebody who is doing some type of artwork clay, some type of sculpting or whatever. It was a bowl about this deep, and it had the spike down into to hold it steady so I could hold the pork loin roast up and then go back and shoot it. Now I had 2 cameras rolling. So what you're about to see is the damage that a high-powered round from 100 or so yards out would do to a pork loin roast. And remember now, you're gonna see the entry wound. So you see, I put the aluminum foil around and zoomed in so you could see the round entering the aluminum foil. It's a little circle, the diameter of the bullet that goes in when it goes in. I shot on an extreme downward angle because I wanted to be safe with the gun and make sure that the round didn't go travel anywhere else or hurt anyone, you know, way down the road or anything like that. So look at the back of the pork loin roast. So the aluminum foil blows open like this, blows the aluminum foil open. Now the front, it just entered a little tiny diameter of a bullet. Small, like the tip of this pen. Out of the back, the aluminum foil gets blown open. A large chunk of the pork loin roast gets hit. So the bullet goes in, coming downward, blows the pork loin roast out through the aluminum foil, blows the aluminum foil open. The angle that I shot at was so great downward wise that it caught the edge of the plastic container that had the clay in it. The violence of blowing. Now imagine your skin, I should have brought something with me, versus the plastic of like one of those Tupperware things that you buy Cool Whip in. I know everyone knows what that is. So picture something like that, even a little thicker because it had clay in it. So, but a Cool Whip thing, it blew a hole in the Cool Whip thing this big. Along with the neck, along with the meat, along with the aluminum foil, blew it open and blew the whole bottom of the Cool Whip thing out. So I proved I was wrong by actually going out there and seeing what it would be like for Charlie to have sat in a chair underneath that canopy from 142 yards away at 48 feet high. I was wrong. Entering and exiting, and what that looks like with a high-powered round from 100 yards out. Take a look at this in slow motion. So I ask you now, with a gun that was more powerful, with a gun that was moving, the bullet was moving faster than the one out of my gun, from a bolt-action rifle that is used for this reason, to kill something from very far away, take a look again at the hole in the back of this pork loin roast. And if you think your neck is any stronger than a pork loin roast, I don't know. Okay, is it that different? Are you getting the point? There isn't a chance. There isn't a chance in hell. There isn't even the remote possibility that this gun was fired with that round and hit him where they're showing he was, right here, and wouldn't have blown a hole in the back of his neck like this. I mean, even if it blew a hole that big, but it would have been here and out the back, not over here where they said the shooter was, and then a hole over here. It didn't happen that way. So we have a lot of theories. We now are, it had something to do with Israel, and it had something to do with his team was an Israeli security team. And did they want him gone because Netanyahu put out the hit, or that these high-powered are the Mossad, or, that I haven't even begun to dig in. I understand that there are other podcasters that claim that they have a tremendous amount of evidence and text messages. They were far closer to Charlie. What I want to know from you as a viewer of what I just said, and listen, I'm not guessing anymore. I just showed you, for those who don't understand, who maybe don't fire weapons, and for those who do, for those, Jimmy, I know you're listening. Jimmy, I mean, he's got real life experience being out there on the other side of that gun and having done what it is we're talking about to save our freedom and to serve our country. So thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate you, brother. There's no speculation like I might be wrong. There's no chance that this was a fluke. No, listen to me. Please listen to me. Because this is what's wrong with our society now. Why aren't we furious that we don't know the truth yet, or it's not being questioned by, I have faith in Kash Patel. I have faith in the administration. I'm wondering, are they holding on to it right now because they're waiting to have more evidence? But we know that the kid that's been taken in did not hit him with a bullet. We know that. We know that rifle was not used and is not the murder weapon. We know that. We don't need to see a round come out of it or some bullshit that they're going to do in Utah, or whoever is in control of this. They jumped up and they took the cameras and they switched detonators. And all this crazy stuff's going around. And I'm not touching any of that yet. I haven't seen some of the stuff that the Candace Owens of the world say that they have. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that to come out. I'm just telling you that I just proved to you. I proved to you that there is not a chance that this kid, the gun that he had and the round that he shot, is what killed Charlie Kirk. Not a chance. Zero. Not a single chance. So please understand that. And I want people out there to be as fucking upset as I am right now, that this crazy shit is being perpetuated on us, that we're supposed to believe this, that you're asking me to believe as an educated man that round killed this man. Now, again, I'm not even asking for you to produce the people that did it yet. I think it should be investigated. The video evidence of it suggests that there's a lot of signals going on and different things that happen. Again, that's for the FBI and the CIA and local law enforcement. But listen up. Listen up. That kid did not take that shot. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. So I don't care what the father said, what the kid's been programmed. I mean, you have to understand, there are programs that are used. They recruit these kids. They find them at these functions, and they bring them in slowly, and they groom them, and they work them until they get them to do their deeds, till they get them to be the scapegoat. No, Tyler's not the GOAT. He's not the greatest of all time. He's the scapegoat. He didn't take the shot. And until we stand up and say, what the hell is going on here? What are you trying to feed us? What's going on in Utah right now? What's the FBI doing that we know that this didn't happen this way? We know it didn't happen. So are we going to get some kind of report, that Cash and the boys from the FBI are going to come right in at the last minute and straighten this out? Because it didn't happen the way what we're being fed in the news and what they're trying to cater this to is all this same herding of all of us into one little pack so that they can control us. It didn't happen. It did not happen. This kid didn't take the shot. Where do we go from here? What do we do? Who do we write? Who do we insist? How many of these kinds of shows are we going to go, did you hear Baldwin go off today? Yeah, it sounds, he actually showed a pork loin roast blowing up. Why aren't you as pissed as I am? Why are you? Forget about Charlie Kirk's politics. Forget about what he said. Was he this? Was he that? But he was murdered. You're not getting it. I don't think a lot of people understand this. They did it this way on purpose. They did it this way. This was one of those, they could have killed him. They could have shot him from far away in his front yard and shot him, ran him off the road in one of these car accident deals, or again, the beauty of it, Hillary Clinton and her mob, he committed suicide. He was very depressed. He was upset. And so he killed himself. Yeah. 17 guys killed themselves. What the fuck are you talking about? They didn't do that. They executed this guy in front of all those cameras, knowing what a spectacle that was going to be in front of 3,000 people, live audience. Blew his neck open. Looks like they put some type of radio mic on him and someone hit the button from that side and shot him and killed him. They got shit like that. They got all kinds of weird stuff that they can use. Cell phones that blow up and remotes from TVs in the hotel room that make gas and kill you and you're there and it looks like you OD'd. And just on and on and on and on. The crap and the tools that they have now to do this. But if you look at all the evidence, we realize that the kid didn't do it and that this was some much bigger plan that he was executed. But think about that part. Why, if you just wanted him out of the way? Why, if he had information that he was going to release, why would you execute him in such a big way that everyone sees it? Because there was a message involved. Whatever Charlie was working on, and there's been talk about, he had something to do with Epstein, and he could prove that Epstein was Mossad, and they couldn't afford to let that get out, and he had access, and they offered him a whole bunch of money to his program, and he turned it down, and that was it. But listen, there was a message involved. They didn't just want him gone. They wanted you to see his violent death. They wanted to scare you. They wanted the Candace Owens, who's now coming out with stuff saying, listen, if something happens to me, all the evidence that I have, all the stuff that I need has been carefully placed with a number of people that I trust. Do I have to worry that someone's going to retaliate against me for pointing out how stupid a plan it was to say this kid did it? You should have just killed him. I don't mean to be insensitive. I don't mean to say that it's not a terrible thing. It was a terrible thing. Please don't start writing me saying when I said you should have just killed him. I'm talking about from a killing standpoint to quiet someone. Why would you do it this way? Why in God's name would you assassinate him in such a public, open way? Because they want you to be scared. They want me to think about whether do I say what I know? Do I go take this gun and shoot this fictitious neck wrapped in aluminum foil to show you how ridiculous a concept this is? Am I a troublemaker now? Am I going against the grain? I don't know who did it. I don't. I will tell you that through the number of people that I know politically, militarily, that high wealth individuals, little by little, the information will trickle and get to even little old me. I know enough people that will happen. Speculative stuff, some people that may actually even know. But I'm gonna tell you this. They wanted you to see it. They almost wanted you to know. It's so obvious, the signals and stuff, that were being done. Where are these men that were on the security detail? So they were hired by his team, by Charlie Kirk's team. His wife's here, has taken over his business, his podcast. Is anyone asking, well, where are these guys? Let's bring them in for some questions. This is a murder. It's a murder investigation. Where's the forensic evidence about the gun and the kid and DNA tie him to stuff. It's all very, very tongue-in-cheek for something that was done so publicly and has received, presidential attention and vice presidential attention, national and international audience looking for answers about what happened here. No. Make no mistake about it. They wanted you to see this. They wanted it to be done on a big stage. They wanted to scare you. This was 9/11. This is terrorist activity. Let's all be afraid to stand up to whomever this was or whatever information. Or let's all be afraid to talk about the Epstein files and the Epstein tapes. Well, look, I did a whole show. You really believe Epstein's dead? Are you really that fucking stupid? That guy's not dead. That guy's not dead. So something went down. Something went down with this guy. I don't know what Charlie knew, but he was getting close to something that powerful people didn't like. But think about something. So if this was a cop, and they had footage of it, people were outside because there was a demonstration going on outside in front of a 7-Eleven. There'd be the 7-Eleven cameras, there'd be the cameras up in the poles, and there'd be all the people that were at the demonstration. And there'd be people looking through those tapes right now, and they go, yeah, that does look like a military. 4 minutes, 4. Yeah, that does look like something's going on there. To the cap, back over to here. So this does appear to be people signaling each other. Where are those men? Why don't we know their names already? This is a very public thing that went on. If they're a legit security outfit, what are their names? They're Israeli. Who are they? Were they flown home? Did they elude the authorities? Did all the people that were on the stage that witnessed this thing, they weren't questioned? They weren't detained? Nothing? Even before we knew that there was something wrong with the story we were being told, wouldn't all those people have been asked where were the cops right after it happened? Those guys are unscrewing cameras, exchanging data, and doing stuff, and no one knows who they are. There are pictures and video of them, and they were hired, they were paid to guard his life. What's the agency's name that they work for? Who contracted them? Who paid them? How were they compensated? Doesn't the wife and the people from Charlie's team, don't they have all that information? Someone stepped forward and hired them. Or is that person also going to be implicated? Or are we just never going to know? Yeah, those guys, remember those guys that did the signals and the guy pushed his shoulder and suddenly his whole neck went. I mean, you see inside, the whole thing ripples back and front. I've never seen a bullet do that. Take a look at the slow motion of the bullet. Take a look at the slow motion of the bullet hitting the pork loin roast. Do you see the aluminum foil? Or do you see it go BAM! And just shoot back in the opposite direction of where the bullet came from and blow open? Yeah, that's what a bullet does. That's what a high-powered rifle does with a bullet, a projectile coming at you at that speed. When it hits a whole bunch of meat and muscle and stuff and blows a hole in the back of it. It's very violent. They wanted you to see that violence. What were they trying to say? What are they trying to tell us? Why are they trying to scare us? That's what they did. That's what they did. That's what the plan was. And people aren't even, it doesn't appear to be fully investigating it. So I'd love to get an answer from the FBI about, well, what are we doing? Are we really gonna play the lone gunman Oswald with an Italian bolt-action rifle from the 5th story of the Bookroom Depository, and he shot through trees, a moving target, and achieved a headshot? Back and to the left, back and to the left. That's what they kept saying about Kennedy's head. Why? Because if the bullet hit him here, it would have pushed his head back. The concussion of the bullet spinning and smacking into your skull threw his head back and to the left. How is that conducive to a shot from behind from the Bookroom Depository if Oswald was the lone gunman? So like I said, we know, we've accepted as a society. Will this be 25, 50 years later that we're gonna uncover some documents, or there's gonna be testimony or a deathbed confession or whatever? When we know, why is this boy not being asked the questions of, who were you talking to? Who was the person or persons that you met with? Who told you to be on that roof? Or if you weren't even on the roof, it looks like some pictures are of one guy and some picture of another guy that looks very much like him, but not that much when you look at their noses and their chins. One guy's definitely older. So they sent somebody up there to run down and jump off the roof and do all that shit. They did. It's not even this kid. I don't even know if this kid was there. I don't. But he was told to save our country and to save this, we want you to tell people. And he was programmed to say he did it. And then all the text messages. How perfect are they? I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry, honey. I love you, to the transgender lover that he lived with, where he fully admits he did it and blah, blah, blah. I haven't seen this kid admit he did anything. What happens if we get him with someone that can deprogram him and he starts talking about who approached him, who coached him, who told him to be there? What's the phone numbers of those people? How many burner phones? How many big... It's one of those deals. It's one of those deals. But what I wanted to do more than anything, what I really felt I needed to do, was to go up there and take a shot so I could show you in a very simple way. This is not some high tech. I went to, the supermarket and bought a pork loin roast, wrapped it in aluminum foil, put a blood bag in there to show you, it fire out and smash into the, big wad of it came out too. I'm not sure what hit it that blew that much blood. Normally there'd be like a spray, but I must have caught it nice. So yeah, I think you get the point. We're being fed an entire plate of come eat all you can eat bullshit. All the bullshit you can consume on this one, because it just didn't go down that way. Tylor Robinson did not take that shot. Charlie Kirk was not killed by some kid on a rooftop. This was an inside job done by real professionally trained people, because they wanted to frighten you, they wanted to control you, and they want to control the whole conversation, all of it, the money, what's said, the news, the politics, the elections, all of it. That's what this was. I can't even see the camera because I picked it up, so I'm just going to say, Lord, thank you for keeping us safe, God. Thank you for all the many blessings you have, and thank you for your continued guidance. And Lord, I ask you, bring us the truth, God. Bring us the truth about this boy and his involvement in the killing of Charlie Kirk. And God, anyone, any law enforcement person, any person that has information, any person that can shed real light on this so we can expose the people that really did it and learn more about it. We ask you, God, to bring them safely forward so we can listen and hear their words and seek the truth. In your name we pray, amen. So I almost forgot to pray. Imagine, I got too wrapped up in the show. God bless you all.